Stevenson. I'm the chairman of the sponsors of Wood Awards, and I welcome you to what surely must be the high point of 100% design this year, which is the unveiling of the shortlist of Wood Awards for 2005. And we thought it would be appropriate this year to have a winner from last year here to unveil the shortlist for this year. And last year's winning entry was Norwich Cathedral Visitor Centre. And I'm very pleased today to have here Andrew Barnett from Hopkins Architects to unveil the shortlist of Wood Awards 2005.
We were, of course, completely delighted to win the Gold Award last year for Norwich Cathedral. And after 10 years of working on really what is quite a small project, it was indeed sort of all the better reward for 10 years of labour. We're constantly inspired by timber. I hope we're about to be inspired by what's behind this curtain. The use of wood is fundamental to a lot of our designs that we come up with in our projects. Wood is undergoing somewhat of a renaissance because it not only is it a natural project, it's incredibly sustainable.
Wood is having a renaissance and is being recognised as a great sustainable material that is interesting many architects in their projects.
We had this year, I think, 120 projects entered from around Great Britain.
Wood is a material that's been around for thousands of years and has been used by architects and designers for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's now being seen in a new light.
These days there are a lot of people who are recognising the merits of timber and designing in timber from first principles and getting some rather ingenious solutions.
We've seen a huge increase in the quality of buildings, and that's manifest by the fact that I see entrants today in the Wood Awards that could have won in previous years, which don't get even shortlisted today.
The Wood Awards is a very credible award to win in the industry. It is truly recognising excellence in the use of wood. Consequently, a lot of good practices are doing good work and wanting to submit for this award, which is raising the game. Particularly this year when I was judging it, there was a very noticeably very high standard of entries, and to shortlist down to 24 from about 190 was actually a very difficult job, and it does show that it's becoming one of the leading awards in the industry.
So here we are, the 2005 Wood Awards, when we make the presentation to those successful projects. So welcome to the Wood Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, Master, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at the end of the presentation, but we still have the most important award to present, the Gold Award, which is the winner of winners.
The contenders are the winner of the Commercial and Public Access category, the Sage in Gateshead, the winner of the Private category, Pinions Barn, the winner of the Structural category, Pilton Barn, and the winner of the Conservation Restoration category, Christchurch Spitalfields. And I'm pleased to announce that the winner of the Gold Award 2005 is Pinions Barn.
We had a very open brief from our client, and they accepted our recommendations to really leave the space large as it was. And so it's partly restoration and partly a sort of very light touch in terms of integrating new services and new spaces. But essentially we wanted to keep the wonderful spaces that were there to begin with.
When we came to look at the Gold Award, which is the overall award from every winner in every category, we looked very hard at the Sage, which is the big, the big concert hall in Gateshead, and a number of other, big buildings, and we came to the decision that Pinion's Barn was really the one that we had to give the Gold Award to this year, because it was so beautifully done, and the level of craftsmanship and just the sheer inventiveness of what the architect had done was made it the Gold Award winner without any question.
These are the Wood Awards, so of course we're interested in the use of wood in buildings, most particularly. We are not looking for any one design approach, any one architectural approach, but we're looking at how the brief has been interpreted, how the architecture and the use of wood works with the use of the building and the way it's been designed and put together. Very clean walls.
And actually the modern openings are clearly modern. Look how it's spot on. Using the contrast between the new and the old, you can't help but be struck when you walk in here how it's a very successful reinterpretation of an old building, breathing new life into it. And in particular, the way he's dealt with the new openings into the old walls.
And that window must have taken some doing.
Yes.
That would have taken a lot of time.
They would have made that in the workshop, and then brought that as a panel, do you think?
Must have done.
Because
you could have done, yes.
That's very good site work if it is.
It is. Well, the main points that I look out for, as I'm ostensibly the craftsmanship judge, if you like, are the level of workmanship, whether there's any particular difficulty involved in the workmanship, apart from obviously the overall appearance of the project.
This staircase is quite something, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Finger joints. They will have been made in a jig, but even so, that's...
But they've brought this in as a complete piece.
I would imagine so, yes. And to try and build that up on site just wouldn't work.
Quite a task.
So the whole point is you'd have to have surveyed very accurately what you've got, and then they made it up in the workshop.
Yeah. What are these for?
Lovely, aren't they? Well, that is probably where they're getting their last bit of adjustment from.
It's almost like it's cantilevered bit of beam, isn't it? Like it's a cantilever off this beam.
So this is, well...
Possibly, yes. So it's probably holding it up.
It may well be, and it'll be coming off this landing.
It's only when you get right to the top and look down that you see the pure geometry of the centre.
It's like a core out of it, isn't it?
Yes, it's an absolute circle.
That is a great view, isn't it? There's a real empathy between the architect and the builder, and the builder's not really let Simon down in his aspirations. He's actually carried out the detailing very well. I mean, we were looking earlier on at the scribing of all the panelling to the walls, and whilst I personally would have probably done that in a slightly different way, you can't help but be struck by the care of somebody who's really been passionate about putting the work together. And Simon's been clearly passionate about designing this building, and I think the builder has done an extremely good job of building it.
Have you seen the scribing?
I know that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
amazing.
That's the best scribing I've ever seen.
God, have you ever tried doing scribing like that?
Yeah.
Not like that.
It always ends up with big gaps.
Exactly, yes.
You know what I would have done? I would have cut a groove in the stone and put the plywood into it.
You cheat.
I know. I wouldn't have been confident in scribing as good as that, actually. They've had some good craftsmen here, haven't they?
Yeah. What these awards show is that good craftsmanship is still available, is still out there. My job shows me that the difference between these projects in terms of craftsmanship is very, very small. I am going around sometimes on my hands and knees looking for faults, and you can always find them because it's a human that's made them, but they're tiny.
Yeah, and the floorboarding actually stopping.
Just
I'd have just assumed the floorboarding went through, the furniture sits on it, but actually the furniture went in first. And that little bit of light just underneath works well.
Well, that's everywhere, that's carried right through
the
thing. The joy of the Wood Awards is that I get to see some beautiful buildings lovely projects, and they've all involved large amounts of timber. I guess it is that they cut this door longer than they needed.
Yeah, and then trimmed.
Did that and then trimmed it so that all the damaged timber was cut away.
I'm just going to get in this bath because I'm dying to see what the view's like. Because you can see this horizontal window geared up to the...
Nice view from inside out. Must be
Nice
an
view of
interesting
the
view
hedgerow.
from outside in. But it's a great view. Wow. That and the contrast again between that and the smoothness of the floor. The Wood Awards, in overall terms, is becoming much more high profile, which I think is very good. I think that reflects architects' and builders' interests in using wood and how that is being encouraged and is encouraged by the general situation, sustainability and so on. And I think that one of the most important things is that it shows people, the general public, other architects, other designers, examples of the best use of timber, and therefore is an inspiration.